Thanks for staying with the Ed Show tonight. The story goes to the heart of what we deserve as American voters. If we elect someone to the Senate, we expect them to do what? Get something done. Unfortunately, the Republicans have been using the filibuster to block legislation. Now the Democrats want to change the rules to keep the next group of Republicans from doing the same doggone thing. We'll talk about those changes in a moment. But first, Republicans have used the filibuster and really abused it as well. It's normally a great tool for the minority to have a voice. It can slow down a discussion of a bill. It allows the minority to make changes before a vote. Filibuster can also kill a bill, even if the majority of senators want to pass it. Now, over the last 4 years, the Republicans have been using the filibuster as really a political weapon to cripple the Senate and stymie government movement at all. Here's a comparison. Lyndon Johnson, back in the good old days, served as Senate Majority Leader for the same amount of time as Harry Reid. Now, the former president saw one filibuster during his tenure as Senate Majority Leader. One? That's right. Harry Reid has seen 386. Do we see a pattern here at all? So Reid is proposing the following rule changes. Republicans can't filibuster after having a debate over a bill. Democrats shouldn't have to wait as long for a filibuster to be resolved. And if Republicans want to filibuster, they should have to talk about it. They shouldn't be able to hide in their offices while all this filibustering takes place. Come out and talk it over again and again and again for a lengthy period of time. The Republicans, they claim that these changes, well, they're just not fair. Blocking legislation for another 4 years isn't fair to the American people or the process either. It's Harry Reid's call. What does he do? Joining me tonight, Steve Bannon, MSNBC political contributor and producer for The Rachel Maddow Show. Great to have you with us, Steve. Thanks for your time. These rule changes that Harry Reid and the Senate Democrats are talking about, how drastic are they and how much of an effect would they have?
Well, given the apoplexy we're hearing from Mitch McConnell, one might think that they're outrageous, and these are extraordinary new measures that Democrats are proposing. In reality, the measures that you just identified are actually quite modest. For many people who are eager to see major changes in the Senate because of its dysfunction, this is actually something of an underwhelming proposal that we see coming from the Senate Democrats. The kind of changes we'd see are actually quite minor, and ultimately, the 60-vote supermajorities that we've seen become so standard throughout the Senate in recent years would actually remain in place. These changes are actually quite minor.
Well, do you think it would be enough? I mean, I think that Harry Reid wouldn't be proposing this if he didn't think this was going to remedy the situation. But there still is a way that the Republicans could throw up a bunch of filibusters, correct?
Absolutely. The right of the minority to filibuster would be maintained regardless of whether these reforms are adopted or not. I think Harry Reid is correct that some changes are necessary and that this would be a step in the right direction. But at the same time, I don't think anyone on either side would be able to characterize this fairly as some kind of sweeping overhaul of Senate rules. They're just not that sweeping.
Do you think it would work?
I think it would have some effect. I mean, there are all kinds of different possibilities in terms of reforms. Some have gone so far as to suggest that filibuster should be removed altogether and that it should just be a majority rule institution the way it used to be. But I think that the kind of changes that the Democrats have in mind would make a difference. I just don't know how much. Keep in mind, we also don't have all the details yet. Harry Reid is kind of keeping his cards close to his vest. We don't know exactly to what extent he's going to wants to make changes. But based on what I know so far, it looks like we would see an incremental step in the right direction.
Well, it's interesting to view the Republicans on this. Mitch McConnell quoted the late Democratic Senator Robert Byrd today, saying that Byrd would have wanted these rule changes. Is he correct?
You know, it's hard to speculate, obviously. Senator Byrd is no longer with us, and we can only imagine what he would be saying. But keep this detail in mind. When Senator Byrd was elected to the Senate in 1959, in that Congress, there was literally one filibuster. One for the entire Congress. In the last Congress, there was 137. So while Robert Byrd certainly was an institutionalist and wanted to protect the norms and traditions of the Senate, I don't think he could have imagined a situation that the dynamic that we find ourselves in now, which is one in which Republicans are filibustering literally every bill of any consequence. Robert Byrd couldn't have imagined that. Neither could the Founding Fathers. Neither could anyone who created the Senate, because the Senate wasn't designed to work this way.
And to be clear, Mitch McConnell is saying that Senator Byrd would not have wanted these rule changes, which of course would be going against what the Democrats want right now. Well, the bottom line here is the danger in changing the filibuster rule. There is, I mean, I see both sides of it. I mean, let them go ahead and filibuster politically. Let them go hang themselves politically with the American people. The next election cycle is going to come around, and the Republicans could pay a heavy price in the next election. The question is it worth that? And can we afford as a country to have that many filibusters again and not move forward, especially on things like the economy? Steve Bannon, great to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time.